One war and gases through the ceiling and all your funds will be non-existent.
Boy, did that age like fine wine. So it appears that a little Oompa Loompa Donny had a secret whisper from a bird called Israel that told him, "Hey daddy, you like us, right? Well, now it's time to prove your love." The country that is already causing genocide in Palestine had this little idea that, hey, this is another country that we don't like, might as well erase it. And to top it all off, the land of the free, or fat, United States jumped onto the action with them. Oops, but it's not like they were learning anything useful. What do you mean? These are innocent lives. Innocent, do they support Israel? No. I didn't ask if they were people, I asked if they support Israel. I'm not really sure why Trump is so adamant with Israel. Did Israel give him some handies behind the corner, cover his old man stick with some oil, maybe whisper to his ear, "May all the oil be in your side, cause I shall be your messiah tonight." Some argue that it's because US and Israel share history or whatever, but I think it's much like a high school relationship. They get along so well because they share the same drug. War. Is that oil I see? Sorry, I don't know what this country Iran is, but I sure hope you ran by the time we take over. Or, is that a country with opposition beliefs of ours? I must kill them all and brag about it in social media. Nothing says you're the greatest than killing off all of your opposition, and in a typical Jewish fashion, monetizing it. But aside from the fact that these horrendous things are happening out there, how does this realistically affect the average people? I mean, I wake up every day thinking, wow, it's pretty cool to have my house intact. But all these lizards called journalists keep making these articles like, oh my god, gas is so high, Israel and Trump bad, vote Democratic. Like, bitch, how do you complain about some war causing high diesel prices when 50% of the price is taxes? I think gas stations should rebrand themselves as college, where you know a trip is gonna be expensive, but at least it helps in the short term. Another thing I don't get about this whole, I guess you call it a distraction, is how split people are on it. I mean, Israel's #1 fan isn't in the picture anymore. I thought that surely by now people would sit back and realize, wait, supporting genocide is a bad thing because bunch of innocent people die? I mean, these are the same people that whine about Epstein files, but for some reason once it's Israel, it just puts like a little cloud in their brain. Just another little distraction from a little massacre. And to be honest, it just makes this whole political side of this much funnier. People already got butthurt when I called them dummies for voting, but let's take another quick look at the situation. We voted for the used car salesman in the hopes that his meaningless words are stronger than the black woman who slept her way to presidency, or the dementia patient that can't stop sniffing kids. But now that we're seeing that little Donald's words didn't hold up, we reached a bit of a crossroad. Do we keep going with the right wing that enforces religion, racism and war, or do we roll right back to the left wing that celebrates YouTubers' deaths and wants to steal your kids' balls? Which one do you prefer, fellow citizen? And as much as I wish to just sit back and laugh a little and say, Americans, this shit is real here in Europe too. Aside from the fact that in a decade whole of Europe is just one big Islamic territory, the leftist narrative is still trying to ruin people's careers, and the right-wingers have started to idolize a certain movement. Like, since when did we forget that we don't got to have a heaven and a hell kind of a thinking about everything? And look, I get it, living is tough and you want to avoid fascism, illegal immigrants and the sovereignty of a free thinker, but isn't there a better way to enforce this than marching down the street with a megaphone and a flag, or throwing paint at the government house? Sitting down and discussing things makes us understand each other better. And that honestly is where the whole issue lies in. Be honest. If world leaders were forced to sit down and come to agreement, would there be wars? If Israel and Palestine sat down and agreed to forget about their imaginary man, split the land and release the hostages, I don't think they would keep fighting. If Zelensky and Putin saw eye to eye and made an agreement on territories, this whole conflict could possibly end. Or if Donald and Consequences sat down and agreed to coexist, we'd have much less hassle. Now most people will just call it a fantasy because it will never happen. But guess what? I don't care. I know that out of all the generations, Gen Z is the most reasonable one. We are the only ones that sit there and demand to be treated fair. And yes, some of us are crazy blue-haired people who are offended by everything, but I'd rather have toddlers that can mature than idiots that want war. So once these old heads start dropping to whatever higher life entity they believe in, that only leaves us and the generations to come. So whenever you think about logging now, remember that you're the only one responsible for a change, okay? No one is coming to save you. I know you gotta put in the effort. Sure, you can always scroll away and indulge in some instant gratification, but if you want to make life more worth living, then grab yourself by your big boy pants and get to work. Or join the government for a 10k a month salary so you can professionally do nothing.
Wait, what's that? Oh my god, make it bigger. Even bigger? Even bigger? Oh yeah, baby.